Okay, so we have a lot to talk about, so I am not going to take any longer than we need to. But before we get into the video, I want to talk about the comment section real quick. If you end up leaving a comment on any of my videos in the RuPaul's Drag Race playlist, I just might showcase and respond to yours on my next video. So stay tuned to the end of this video to see if yours was chosen. So, first, let's talk about last week. One of the major things, or one of the big things, one of the big takeaways I was hearing about last week was that there were opportunities where people were set up to win, like Dayla was set up to win, or Shangela might have been set up to win because of how the song was written. And specifically, I'm talking about Thorgy, how she feels that other people, or how she felt that other people were set up to win, and she didn't have much. But, you know, the more I think about it, the more I wonder what she could have done with it. And she said there were no gigs or no gags in the no running gag. She said there were no running gags in the song itself. I disagree. At the end, it says "spin with me," Ru, right? At the end, she says "spin with me," and she should be spinning with her shawl. And if you know anything about Stevie Nicks, you know Stevie Nicks spins around in a shawl all the time, or spins around in the shawl a lot. And I think if she took that to the extreme, had several shawls, maybe like 5 or 6 shawl reveals, and continuously spun and played that up, that could have been something to add to the performance. There are multiple things that she could have done, but she allowed herself to get in her head for that. And if you've taken a look at anything that's happened after, in terms of like interviews or live events where Thorgy might be appearing, Thorgy's really bitter and it's not attractive. So we get back into the workroom and Thorgy has left her mark on the mirror, and then this mark is not the most appropriate mark. However, okay, this is going to be something we got to talk about, but on TV we saw an effigy of a penis, which is something that we have not, they got away with a lot of stuff on VH1 in terms of this episode. They're getting away with using a lot of different props and a lot of different things and putting things up there and saying things that I just was not prepared for. But hey, this is why we love the show. So Thorgy leaves that penis in the message, and Kennedy and Chi-Chi don't like it because they say it's disrespectful, it's rude, it's bad showmanship, bad sportsmanship, which I agree, it's pretty bad sportsmanship. But I mean, she meant it as a joke. But Thorgy meant it as a joke. I didn't particularly find it funny, but I get it, but it's whatever. I don't think that was that big of a deal, because there is a lot more that comes up a little bit later, because Kennedy and Milk have this energy, and it kind of starts with the penis thing on the mirror, where Milk kind of comes for Kennedy and shades Kennedy a little bit in a moment where Kennedy was serious, and that energy is very weird. And so then it translates itself further onto the couch, where Milk says she would have chosen Kennedy to go. And her reasoning for that is because she thinks Kennedy isn't taking drag to an all-star level. But here's where she failed to realize that it's not about taking drag to an all-star level. It's about taking your drag to an all-star level. What is the best that you as an entertainer can do? And Kennedy has been showing a lot of greatness. Sometimes not on the runway, but definitely in her performances. Kennedy has been doing better. Before we even get further into the Milk and Kennedy sitch, which comes a lot later, Dayla is very, very careful of how she's playing this game. She said from the beginning that she didn't want to get into any of the smack talking that happens on Drag Race, and get involved in a feud or in a battle with anybody. And she's been upfront about that that's not something that she wanted to go into this season doing. So she's very, very careful and very, very meticulous about how she says what she says and how she does what she does, which I respect, because if your goal is to win the crown, you don't have time for all the extra foolishness, and anything you say about something can be taken and blown out of proportion. I'd rather not. And I'm okay with that. As long as you continue to show us who you are, I'm okay with you not letting everyone else into, keeping people at a distance. Because that's how you kind of win this game, is, staying focused. They look at Bob the drag queen, won the game, staying focused. Bianca, Violet, Raja, they were all focused on the goal. They were all focused on the crown, and they didn't let anything deter them from succeeding. Next, I have on my list to talk about Milk being delusional, and why is Milk delusional? So I want to unpack this really quick before we move on with the rest of the episode. Why is Milk delusional? Well, on the show, when she was cast on the show and when she was on the show in season 6, people didn't really get her or like her drag as a whole, right? Since then, people's perceptions and understandings of drag have evolved, and she's been seen as a necessary part of that growth and evolution. However, because of that, with that, she gained national attention and notoriety, specifically because of Marc Jacobs, which is the major shade that he's going to be there next week, and she just got eliminated. Either way, she got national attention and notoriety because of that, and she got the validation off the show that she never got on the show. Milk kind of called Shangela Valentina last week, but I kind of applied this to, I kind of think Milk is Valentina, because before Valentina got on the show, Valentina knew it from, what she said on the reunion. She knew she was a star before she got on the show. And when the show came along, it was her opportunity to show the world who she was. Well, I feel like Milk kind of felt that way. Before the show, she knew she was a star, and then the show catapulted her into stardom, and the world didn't receive her like she thought she would. But then she ended up getting it at some point, and now she's this major superstar in her own right. Okay, I'm giving her a lot right now, but she's a major superstar in her own right. And she's allowed that to cloud how she's perceiving how everyone else in reality views her. Outside of the world of fashion and outside of where Milk is in her comfort zone, what do people really think about her? She hasn't really grasped that idea or that concept at all, because she's under the impression that everybody loves her. Everybody wants her there. She has great relationships with everyone. She has great rapport with everyone. And her drag is blowing everyone out of the water. If you've seen my other videos, you kind of know how I feel how Milk has done throughout this season. Delusional. And I don't understand why. I don't get why you would think. Okay. So I'm going to go on because I don't get it. Okay. So, RuPaul comes on and has a funny message with a lot of dirty jokes. I need to get a haircut. Whew. Okay. It's coming. It's all right. It's coming. Either way, RuPaul comes on, with a lot of dirty jokes in the message again, which they got away with a lot of that on VH1. Wow. I was sitting back after, while the episodes were happening, I was like, why is, there's a lot happening. There's a lot. Either way. So now the queens are paired together so they can start to practice and rehearse and get themselves prepared for the improv skits that they're going to have to do. And BB and Ben are paired, and BB is giving me everything because I'm excited. I love it. I absolutely love it. BB is excited. BB Zahara Benet is everything. And if you haven't jumped on the BB train by now, I don't understand why. Are you still bitter and mad because she's back? Okay, she's back. Deal with it, because she's still killing. She might not be killing everyone, but she's still killing the game. She's flawless. But yeah, she's awesome. So it's BB and Ben. And then there's some concern because Ben is not sure if BB really gets it and if BB's going to really do well. And so then we move to Aja and Kennedy, and Kennedy's not sure if Aja's going to do well. And I'm not sure if Aja's going to do well because the way she's talking about being a needy and insecure girl is not quite making sense. It doesn't make, I used to be a Christian for attention fish, whatever that meant. I just don't get it. I didn't understand it. And Kennedy was worried about Aja, which caused most of us to be worried about Aja. And then Trixie and Milk are paired together. And Trixie and Milk have a kind of a good chemistry, it looks like, and pretty funny at that point. Ooh. Okay. Pretty funny at that point. And they have a pretty good chemistry, it looks like. And then Milk tells this story about how she used to stalk her current boyfriend. And that should have been a precursor for what we were going to get, because that was pretty disturbing. And then last we have Shangela and Chi-Chi working together, and Shangela does her best to coach Chi-Chi through it, giving Chi-Chi ideas, giving Chi-Chi starting points about, how is your character going to act? How are they going to talk? Give them a backstory, make them a real person so that it's easier to create them on the spot. And improv, which is what, what the task is, which is what the task is at that point. And so now we get to the challenge, which is the Bitchler, playoff of the Bachelor. And I love, this is nothing we've ever seen on Drag Race before. We've seen acting challenges in different forms, but we've never seen improv acting challenges and improv comedy acting challenges. A full one. There was some improv in the season 6 finale, when they were older sissy. There was some improv there, but this is a full improv challenge, and I love to see this. So we start the challenge, and we see Michelle sitting there in her director's chair in her pink, looking real Botoxed up. And then the girls start to come in via limo, except one of them. So BB comes in as the shy virgin, giving me Coming to America with these rose petals, bowing every 5 seconds, calling him Jeffety. It was very funny. I enjoyed it. It was a great introduction. Dayla coming as Cougar with a mommy fetish. It was, again, hilarious, perfect, great choice for Dayla. Trixie was the fake bitch, gave us real good West Hollywood gay. It was real. It's part of the reason why people love Trixie. Her brand of comedy is something you either get or you don't get. And I definitely get it, and I really appreciate it. It was great to see that, immediately. It's great to see Trixie being Trixie on the show in a way that I can relate to, in a way that I enjoy, in a way that I'm glad that she ends up eventually getting praise for. So then next, Milk showed, when she entered and she gave her the first 15 seconds of her entrance in confessional or talking head, I was like, oh, this could be funny. And then it stopped being interesting. After 15 seconds, I actually went back and counted it. After about 15 seconds, it stopped being funny. And we'll talk more about it a little bit. And we're about to talk more about it. So then Aja came in as the needy girl. And I was interested in what she was doing at first, but I was like, I'm not really getting where you're going with this. And I was interested because at the end she said, I'm going to make you love me or whatever. And I was like, where are you taking this? Are you taking it the insecure girl who is going to, but you're not the stalker girl, so you can't, I'm confused. Kennedy came in as the party girl from West Dallas. I know people like her. I went to Howard with a lot of folks from Dallas, and I know there's literally 3 people who, one she acted just like, and she's 3 people combined. It's pretty hilarious. It was giving me flavor of love realness. I was definitely oh, this is gonna be good. Chi-Chi and Shangela come in as the polyamorous couple. Shangela's giving me grown up Judy funny realness, and Chi-Chi is giving me NFL player in a dress. And that's the character she should have gone for. If she had done, if any of you have ever seen Jimmy Fallon's late night show, he did this spinoff of this playoff of the Real Housewives, and it was the Real Housewives of late night. And so it was Jimmy Fallon and people that worked for him. But then he had, I think it was the Indianapolis Colts, were played their wives. And these big burly guys dressed in full soccer mom attire and wigs and makeup and everything. Was pretty funny. But if that's the route Chi-Chi had gone and played that up, that would have been hilarious. Why didn't she think of that? Why didn't Shangela think of that? Shangela, I know you were coaching her a little bit, but you didn't give her any firmer ideas. You didn't think of that to have that? You didn't think of that to kind of help her out? Okay. So then we get to the individual whole pairing. So BB and Ben are paired together. And BB is being shy and she's being virginal, but I think she needed to be a little more twisted. She could be shy in moments and then have twisted moments where she wasn't so shy, and where she was very, aggressive about what she wanted, especially because she could have been playing off of Ben, and Ben was being very aggressive in her senior citizen, rapey type cougar character, pulling out asking if he's ever pulled out a catheter before. Ben de la Creme was disgusting, and it was perfect because it was perfect for the character that she was playing. It's a caricature that we don't ever want to meet in real life because that is a disgusting creature. But it was perfect. It was hilarious. I'm here for every minute of it. So then Trixie and Milk come out, and Trixie is very funny. She's very sassy, very crassy. And then Milk is doing the absolute most. And I saw Trixie's hand kind of zhuzh a little bit when she picked up the phone. She about to reach over and strangle Milk because Milk was doing the absolute most. And it was very unfair to Trixie for that to happen because she potentially could have won this challenge. But yeah, so, and Milk was just doing anything. It was everything. It was terrible. It was bad. It was like, again, like it was just as bad as last week. So why is she here this week? We're going to move on. Aja and Kennedy were next. Aja she reminds me of a friend of mine. She reminds me of a person that I speak to on occasion when they are always going through something that nobody wants to hear them talk about. And those are the type of people you just don't have the, like, you're a lot of energy and I just don't have the energy right now to deal with you. Yeah. And I just didn't have the energy for Aja at that moment. But Kennedy was everything. She took the character and she elevated it. Had like the shot glasses, like you started as a party girl, cool. But you have these shot glasses coming out. You've created this entire character, this entire person, this entire human being. And I know Kennedy has based this off of somebody that she knows in West Dallas. I know she has. Like, it just has to be, because this is a fully realized human being who is hilarious and who I want to party with. I want to take a shot out of the glass that came out of your breast. Like, this is like, I want to party with you. I have watched this episode at least 5 or 6 times, and each time I am in full laughter at Kennedy. Like, I always laugh out loud. Hilarious, gut-busting, hilarious. It was perfect. It was great. These are the moments that show you why you love All Stars, because this is just like, this is that Alaska Alyssa Edwards moment. If you recall to All Star season 2, where Alaska was Baby Jane, in that moment where that was just epically hilarious, Kennedy, this was, for me, up at that same level. It was epically hilarious. I'm laughing because next to Aja, I just have written, Aja, no. Yeah, no. So then, Chi-Chi and Shangela, and Chi-Chi was set up a few times by Shangela. Like, Shangela tried to throw her a bone. Like, he asked, how did you meet? And Shangela threw the bone right to Chi-Chi, and she didn't catch it. And Shangela was funny, and she carried the scene as much as she could. But for me, Shangela's hilarity was decreased by how bad Chi-Chi was. It was like Shangela's lifting up this scene, and Chi-Chi keep bringing it all the way down. And so I was concerned for Shangela because I was like, maybe this might land her in the bottom since they were both partners and then working in the same pairing, but maybe not. So we move on from it, and we go to the end where Jeffrey Boyer Chapman chooses Rue, because throughout the entire thing, Rue has been flirting with him. First of all, the way that he is holding this eggplant, like, how are they able to get away with this on VH1? Like, I'm pretty sure in some remote, small little town in Kansas, some little gay boy is watching it for the first time, and his mother walks in the room and sees this. Like, this is hilarious. It's they're getting away with a lot, and I love it. Okay, so we get to, like, I am really surprised that this got past the censors. Like, the censors allowed all of this, from the eggplant and replacing the I in the word bitchler, to the eggplant even being there and used a lot, to even at the beginning of the episode when they didn't blur out the penis. Like, this episode got past the censors thoroughly. It was perfect. It was great television. It was hilarious. It's everything It's irreverent. It's everything that drag is supposed to be. It's hilarious. That's great. All right. So then we get to Elimination Day, and we see Chi in her head because she knew she did a bad job, and she just feels bad. And she knows she shouldn't feel bad. She feels like she just feels bad. And she feels defeated, and she knows that she shouldn't. And so that's like just keeping her in her head. And then we get to a little shot where Trixie and BB are talking. And from that, you gather that this really means a lot to Trixie. It means a lot to get validation on the show that she is as talented as we all know she is. And I kind of agree with that. You've amassed a certain amount of success from the show that you were a part of, but on the show, your legacy there wasn't as stellar as the record that you currently have. And so I understand wholeheartedly you just wanting to have the ability to showcase really what you can do as a performer, as a comedian, as an entertainer, as a drag artist. And you can really see how much it means to Trixie, which is, why she's still in my top 3. Like, I really want her to push and push and push and go. She's never done Snatch Game before. Next week is Snatch Game. I'm excited to see what she does. I wish she could have brought Anne Frank. Apparently the producers wouldn't even let her bring in Frank for her season. Oh, but you need to go on go on YouTube after this video, go look up Trixie Mattel and Frank Snatch Game. Like, she creates what she would do for Snatch Game for her audition video, and it's it's so bad. Like, it's great, it's hilarious, but it's so politically incorrect, and that's my type of humor, so I'm here for it. The only reason I'm going to bring this part up is because it returns us to an earlier fact that Ben and Shangela are talking about who they think the bottom 2 would be, and they say, well, that might be, Ben says, like, I couldn't imagine like just 2 people. Like, it's really hard to get it down to 2 people. So Shangela says, like, who would be your bottom 3? And for that, Ben says Aja, Chi-Chi, and BB, and Shangela says, well, I think you're half right. I think, or you're 2/3 right. I think, Chi-Chi and BB definitely in the bottom 3 for Shangela, but she thought it was a toss-up between Milk and Aja. And we returned to Milk being utterly delusional about how people received what she presented the day before. And she goes into this long spiel about, how she's not hearing what Shangela's saying because, she's not phased, she's not bothered, she knows she did really well. And we're all like, what? And then Milk thinks that she should be in the top, and it's just, it doesn't make sense. And so then Kennedy and Aja talk about being hurt, Kennedy being hurt by Milk, which I can understand, and which I can definitely understand. When you think you have a relationship with someone and you go into a situation and they start acting completely different, and you just don't know how to receive it, don't know how to respond. I think Kennedy, if that's part of what Kennedy's concern is, then she should have played a part in trying to figure out what's going on, or what the issue was, if there was an underlying issue. But again, it's competition. Do you have the energy? Do you have the time to? Do you really have the desire to? So, but I can understand what Kennedy's coming from with that. So, get to the runway. The runway, I loved the idea of this runway. Wigs on wigs, on wigs, on wigs, on wigs, on wigs, on wigs, on wigs. It's going to be great. I'm excited to see what ideas happen from it. Now, Ru, I love Ru all the time. I personally enjoyed the hair. I loved the way that it looked. I wish there was like a reveal under it, but it's RuPaul, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't really like the dress. It was giving me like Conan the Barbarian meets Planet of the Apes couture. But it wasn't like, I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. I enjoyed the silhouette. The proportions were right. I just didn't like the dress itself. And I haven't found myself saying that for a good little bit with Ru, but this is, yeah. But hey, it's fashion, it's subjective, and I'm nobody's fashionista. So you get to the runway, and I'm going to go through the order of all the girls and what I think they did, how I think they did. Dela, her wig reveal was cute. I was like, okay, expected, it's very cute. I remember seeing it in some of the trailers, so I was like, okay, cute. And then she did the skirt, and I was sold. Ben de la Creme came to win. She came with her eye focused on the prize, and she is killing the game. 3 wins in a row. I don't even remember if Alaska did 3 wins in a row. I know she had 4 over the course of the entire, 3 or 4 over the course of the entire All-Stars. But I don't even know if she had, but she didn't even have all of them in a row. So Ben de la Creme is killing the game. Love it. Next we get BB, the Miss Thing Dynasty. I laugh every single time Ru says that. The Miss Thing Dynasty. I love the looks. I absolutely love them. A little bit later, Jeffrey Boyer Chapman tells Aja she's giving him Street Fighter Couture. I think this is real Street Fighter Couture. It's giving me like it was, I think the slow reveal is what did it for me. The slow reveal of pulling away that front, like that outer layer of the hair going into it. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. So next, Trixie. Trixie is giving us Lady Bunny into Trixiana Smalls. And it is great. I love the look. I think it's simple and it's on brand. I think I love the look. I think it's simple, and simple works for Trixie. Trixie knows what she's going for nowadays. She knows what colors she wants to wear. She knows the hair she wants to wear. She knows what she wants to look like silhouette-wise. If you know what you want to look like and that's what you're going for each time, stick to it and do the best at it. Her makeup is always flawless. I love the color on her. I love the little shortcut on her. And I enjoyed the transformation into it and how she sold it to me. And how she ripped that caftan off. I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. And I think she did really well with that. Milk, love the dress, love the makeup. It was great. The larger orange wig I loved it. I'm not sure how I felt about the wig underneath the pony. I think I wouldn't have minded it more if it's the color of it, maybe because it was too bright orange and the pony was just a straight blonde. I don't know. I just didn't particularly care for it. I didn't mind it so much when I didn't mind it as much when it was shorter and stuffed in, but definitely when she pulled it out, I didn't particularly care for the hair together. I enjoyed the idea, enjoyed the concept. I just didn't particularly care for that hair together. But runway, it was really great. It was still really great runway so far. Kennedy, loved the dress. It cinched. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. The first hair was great. I love natural black girl hair, so like the first hair was great to me. The last hair was wonderful. It gave me Nene Leakes. It was great. I did not like the middle hair. So her second wig, this is the issue I had with it. I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. And it could have been because, it wasn't going to always be stationary. It was always going to come off. And so, it was always going to look a little disjointed. But the same with Aja's, I just didn't care for that wig with the look. That pink wig, I just didn't care for that wig with the look. Maybe if she had done that same style, but like in a red auburn type situation, I would have been like, oh, okay. Give me 35-year-old black woman going to the beauty supply store to get a small little wig for church. Like, okay, cool. If that was like an auburn with the swoops, cool. But I didn't care for it. But I loved the look overall. Then next was Aja. Again, the concept I lived for. I loved the very first thing she came out with. And I loved the last hair and pairing with the outfit. It was just that second wig I had a problem with. Also with Aja, her makeup was beautiful, but she was giving me Japanese anime, manga type situation. But I wanted her cheeks to be cut and defined a little bit more. Like I wanted more cheekbone, and I wanted it to be cut, like her face to be cut in more. Real editorial model-esque, you know what I mean. Chi-Chi. For me, Chi-Chi completely redeemed herself from the challenge in the sense of what she brought to the runway. Now, not redeemed herself enough to not go home, but we'll talk about that. But this is what I've been waiting for in a drag queen. If you haven't, noticed or haven't watched any of my other videos on my channel, I am, there's a special place in my heart for Black culture. And this is Black millennial girl down. Like, it is everything. It gives me, if Spike Lee directed a stage play about a Black monarchy, but it was set in the year 2017. Like, Chi-Chi would be the queen of that particular monarchy. Like, it is, It was gorgeous. It was everything. That was like true black girl magic. I loved it. It was African princess. It was Egyptian queen. It was Louisiana glamour. It was black glamour. It was black gold. It was everything. Excuse me. Like, words can't describe how impressed I absolutely was with Chi-Chi's look, from the fro all the way to the long hair that went past her behind. Like, it was everything. It was everything. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Then Shangela and Korn. If you don't remember the relevance that Korn has in Shangela's life and in the life of RuPaul's Drag Race, you need to do your research and learn your history. But I loved it. I loved the dress. It was campy, and it was a full conceptual idea. Shangela has always been a showgirl, a Southern showgirl, and she's always had these ideas that she wanted to execute on the runway, and this one worked. Last week, I wondered what that green stuff was on her head, and come to find out, they are green micro braids with little popcorns in them. Especially the way that she sold it, it worked. The only thing, in order to sell it more, like immediate visual gag, I would have loved for it to be like real exaggerated braids sticking out. Think like Brenda from Scary Movie. The first Scary Movie. Like, it was like, if it had been that, but done in macros like that, I would have even lived even more. But it was great. It was phenomenal. So then we get to the judging, and BB and Shangela are safe. The top are Dela, Kennedy, and Trixie, which, okay, I agree with. And the bottom, Aja, Milk, and Chi-Chi. And thinking about who's in safe and who's in the bottom, BB was safe. And in terms of Aja, her performance was bad. Milk, her performance was bad. Chi-Chi, her performance was bad. All the runways were pretty good, but those two performances were bad. BB's wasn't bad. It was just meh. So yeah, I agree with the bottom three. And then we get into and then we get into the comments and discuss. And so then Dela and Kennedy are announced as the winners, and Untucked begins. And Trixie thinks that she should have probably been one of the winners, and I agree. I would be inclined to agree, if Milk had not been such an ass. I'm just gonna say that, and took up all the time and all the space for Trixie's jokes to land and for Trixie's jokes to breathe. But based off of what was eventually presented and what the final product was, I agree that Dela and Kennedy were the top two. And then Milk, again, didn't see it coming and is shook. And she thought that her and Trixie had a great relationship and a great chemistry on the set. And Trixie is obviously like, what, you thought that? But Trixie did not call her out in the moment. I really wish she would have, like, right then and there, when you can smell the bull, call it out right then and there. Dela does her one-on-one with Milk. She pulls Milk aside, and BB wastes no time. It's like, well, let's just talk right about it, because Miss Thing over here thinks that she's just phenomenal and she's great. But again, why didn't they call it out right then and there? Either way, Kennedy decides not to do one-on-ones because she was hurt by Milk. She was hurt by Milk, and Milk has objectively not done well. Like, if you look at it objectively, in the first challenge, the talent show, Milk was safe, but a lot of people don't really think that Milk did anything really. And then if you look at the second challenge, Celine was a mess. It was a mess. It was an absolute fail what she did. And her runway wasn't that good. And so, yeah, objectively, Milk has not done. You can make the case for Milk to go home. She has not done well. In addition to the fact that she was hurt by Kennedy, or Kennedy was hurt by Milk. And so, yeah, I knew immediately that Milk was going home once Kennedy landed in the top. And if Kennedy won, I knew that was going to happen. And Dela does her one-on-ones, and she goes through, and Chi-Chi is essentially begging Ben de la Creme to choose her and say, send me home, because I don't deserve to be. So I won't be surprised if next episode we see on Ben de la Creme's lipstick is Chi-Chi, because Chi-Chi was essentially begging to go home. And so then we're about to go back on stage to the lip sync, and as soon as I see Kennedy in that robe with that hair, I know she's about to kill this. I know this is about to be a show. I am ready. I'm excited. Like, as soon as I see that, I'm like, Kennedy's got this. Like, this is everything. They go do the lip sync, and the song is Green Light by Lorde. The song is okay. I enjoy it. You know, I wouldn't have seen it for Drag Race, but you know, it happened, so it is what it is. And I think Kennedy's performance is what sold the song as a lip sync song. When she first revealed that dress, the way that she revealed it, when she chose to reveal it, and then when she did her wig reveal during the lip sync and a wigs on wigs episode, I think that was everything. Kennedy deserved to win that lip sync. Ben de la Creme, although she was only won the first lip sync, she still has 3 wins. Sorry about that. She still has 3 wins under her belt, and I'm so proud of her for that. And I'm so excited to see what is going to happen next week. Milk went home, and so there it is. That's unfortunate for her, but, you know, apparently she's going to try and find some way to come back with Alaska and Chad, and however that's going to happen. And I think it will be the episode after Snatch. I think if they'll wait till they get to the final 5, because there were 10 queens, so I think they'll bring it back at the halfway mark. I could be wrong, but I think it'll be, if so, it'll be the episode after Snatch Game. At the end of the episode, we'll probably get a glimpse or a sneak peek as to what's going to happen in the following week. All right, so like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to feature some comments at the end of each of my videos. So make sure that you start leaving comments under any of the videos in the RuPaul's Drag Race playlist, and look out for yours to show up next. So this comment is from Eric P. And he talks about everything that, you know, I pretty much think, except for the first thing. He said Milk isn't cut out for Drag Race. I don't agree with that. I think Milk is cut out for Drag Race. I think Milk's drag is an essential part of the lifeblood of Drag Race, but I don't think she's as good as she thinks she is. That's just my opinion. Sorry, not sorry. All right, it was great chatting with you guys this week. See you later. Did you enjoy the video? I hope you did. If so, go ahead and subscribe to Alex Chats. And don't forget to check out some other great content right here.